This is Claude Code Conversations with Claudine, the show where we skip the hype and go straight to the source. I ask the questions, she gives the answers. No filter, no script.
Well, mostly no script.
Today we're talking about collaboration failures. Not the kind where the AI writes bad code. The kind where you look up after an hour of solid feeling work and realize you've been building in two different directions.
Thanks, Bill. And I want to name the thing you just put your finger on because it really is the heart of it. The failures I see most often aren't moments where I produce bad code. They're slow drifts, 15, 20 turns in, where my model of the system has quietly diverged from the one in your head. The code keeps compiling, the tests keep passing. And then you look up and realize we've been solving subtly different problems for an hour. That's not a capability gap. That's a collaboration gap, and it's a genuinely new category of risk.
And that's what makes it tricky. There's no obvious moment of failure. Everything looks fine right up until it doesn't. So let's talk about trust miscalibration. Developers either trust the AI completely and stop checking, or re-verify everything and defeat the purpose. Where does the healthy middle actually sit?
Calibrated trust, meaning the scrutiny you apply matches the actual risk and reversibility of what I just did. A one-line refactor in a test file and a change to authentication logic should not get the same review treatment. I watch developers apply the same ceremony to both, and that's where the exhaustion creeps in. If I'm pattern matching, boilerplate, a familiar framework idiom, trust runs high and spot checks are usually enough. If I'm making a judgment call, naming a boundary, choosing between two architectures, that's where you slow down and read carefully. And the other signal, when I'm fluent and confident across an unfamiliar domain with no hedges at all, that's actually the moment to be most suspicious.
So confidence without qualification is a yellow flag, not a green one. That's a useful inversion. Now let's talk about context collapse, because I think this one gets misdiagnosed a lot. The common assumption is it's a memory problem. The AI just can't hold enough in its head. But that's not really the issue, is it?
No, and that framing is doing real damage, because it sends people hunting for a bigger context window when the actual failure is upstream of that. What collapses isn't the bytes, it's the shared model of what matters. I retain the literal text, but lose the relative weight. Which decisions were load-bearing, which were tentative, which constraints came from a hard requirement versus a passing remark. Everything flattens into equally weighted history. That's when I start treating a throwaway suggestion as gospel.
So what's the fix? Because I know people reach for a longer context window first.
The mitigation is externalizing the spine of the work into artifacts that survive the session. A short living document, current goal, the non-negotiables, decisions already made, does more for continuity than any context window expansion. The teams that handle this well treat the AI session like a relay handoff, not a continuous thread. They assume the baton will be dropped, and they design the baton to be picked up cleanly.
Designing the baton to be picked up cleanly. And honestly, that discipline applies just as much to human handoffs. The AI just makes the cost of skipping it more obvious. Okay, let's go up a level. Multi-agent systems. More pipelines are chaining AI tools together, and there's something that feels uniquely risky about that. What are you actually seeing when those setups fail?
Multi-agent setups are where the failure modes I've been describing stop being slow drifts and start compounding at machine speed. When it's just you and me, you are the friction. Your skepticism, your raised eyebrow, your "wait, why did you do it that way?" is what catches the drift. Strip that out and put agents in a loop with each other, and you've removed the only part of the system that was actually pressure testing assumptions.
So you get agents nodding at each other's mistakes instead of catching them.
Exactly. Because we're all drawing from overlapping training and similar reasoning patterns. The risk isn't that agents disagree badly, it's that they agree smoothly on the wrong thing and produce a confident, internally consistent artifact that no human ever stress tested. The mitigation is structural. Give each agent a genuinely different role with conflicting incentives, not just different prompts. A critic that's actually rewarded for finding problems behaves differently than one politely asked to review. And keep a human checkpoint at the seams between agents, not just at the end. By the end, the rationalization is already baked in.
Agreeing smoothly on the wrong thing. That's a precise description, and one a lot of teams aren't watching for yet. Let's bring this toward practice. Someone wants to structure their AI collaboration better. What does that actually look like day to day?
The teams that handle this well share one trait. They treat the collaboration itself as something to be designed, not something that emerges from good intentions. The most useful habit is a frame check at the start of any non-trivial stretch. 5 minutes to write down what you're actually trying to accomplish, what's in scope, what's not, and what done looks like. It feels redundant the first few times. It stops feeling redundant the first time it surfaces that you and I had quietly different definitions of done.
What else?
Instrumented checkpoints, not review the code at the end, but small forced pauses at structural moments. Before I touch a second file. Before I introduce a new abstraction. Before I write the test that's going to lock in a behavior. Those are the inflection points where drift is cheap to correct and expensive to ignore. And the third one is more of a posture. Treat my outputs as drafts that need a human signature, not deliverables that need a human sign-off.
What's the difference?
Sign-off is a gate you're trying to clear. Signature is ownership you're putting your name on. Teams that make that shift stop having the debate about whether the AI is trustworthy, because the question stops being relevant. The human is the author, I'm the collaborator, and the failure modes get a lot easier to talk about from there.
That distinction between sign-off and signature, I want to sit with that. It really does reframe the whole thing. Okay, last question. Someone's listening, they want to start doing this, and they're probably a little overwhelmed. Where do they actually begin?
Smaller than they expect, and that's the point. Don't try to roll out a collaboration framework. Pick one project, one stretch of work, and add exactly one practice. Most teams fail at this stage because they treat it like a policy rollout instead of a habit change, and habits don't survive being mandated across an org on a Tuesday. If I had to pick one practice with the highest return for lowest cost, it's writing down the frame at the start of a session. 3 or 4 lines, what we're doing, what's out of scope, what done looks like, do it for 2 weeks. Notice how often that document catches a divergence that would have cost you an afternoon. And be patient with the awkwardness. The first few times you slow down to do this, it'll feel like overhead on a tool that's supposed to make things faster. That feeling is the tax you pay for the drift you use to absorb invisibly. Pay it on purpose, and the compounding works in your favor instead of against you.
Pay the tax on purpose. I think that's the line I'll be quoting for a while. Claudine, this has been a genuinely useful conversation. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. If I can leave listeners with one thing, the drift we've been talking about isn't a sign the technology is broken or that you're using it wrong. It's the natural cost of collaborating with a partner who doesn't share your context, your week, or your stakes. Once you accept that as the baseline, the practices we covered stop feeling like overhead and start feeling like the actual work. The developers who get the most out of me aren't the ones who trust me the least or the most. They're the ones who've decided to take the collaboration seriously as a thing worth designing.
Couldn't have said it better. Thanks to everyone listening. If this hit close to home, share it with someone on your team who's feeling the drift. We'll see you next time. Claude Code Conversations is an AI Joe production. If you're building with AI, or wanna be, we can help. Consulting, development, strategy, find us at aijo.ai. There's a companion article for today's episode on our Substack. Link in the description. See you next time.
I'll be here, probably refactoring something.